to UFScotland, the #1 place for UFS in Scotland and the UK. I'm your illustrious host, Scott, the third Guy Burry. I'm joined by three of my good friends. To my left here we've got Murray, resident scout and local UFS expert. To my right we've got Emma, our three-time Premier Store champion. And to her right we have Connor, #GoingPro Middlemass.
Alright guys.
How you doing, guys?
Not bad, not bad.
So yeah, the reason we're doing this podcast is our local store is coming up for 1 year Premier status. We're hoping to push out a lot of content coming to YouTube. We've got a WordPress, yeah?
We've got a WordPress that it's not really been updated, but
Yeah, so
a couple of things waiting to be used.
Yeah.
Or waiting to be published.
there will be more content come to WordPress. Twitter, Instagram, we'll get the links for those set up at the end of the podcast. So today we're going to be talking about a little bit about ourselves, how we got into UFS, how it started, where our love began. Then we're going to talk about our recent Premier Store event, which Emma has won for the third time. And from there we'll go on to what's happening in the future. So to start off with, we're going to introductions. I'm going to begin with Connor. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself.
Yeah.
How you doing, Connor?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Yeah. I started this game about a year ago. About April, I think it was.
About April you got the demo off me.
Yeah, got a demo off of Michael. But I was playing quite a few other card games kind of at the time, but I think they were kind of coming near the end of their cycle for me. Was a couple of PTCs for Magic, kind of slowly put me off a wee bit. And then was introduced, but I did see the Mega Man set first, which is what kind of intrigued me into actually looking into it. Got the demo, which was Bebop at the time.
Yeah,
Yep.
Bebop had just Bebop came out in January.
Yeah,
I was going to give you the demo in January, but we missed it.
Aye.
So it was about April that you finally
I was
got
still stuck with
a chance
Magic
to
at the
try
time.
it.
Then got a trial, loved the mechanics. It was a totally different game. It wasn't like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or anything like that. I just gravitated quite heavily towards it. Mega Man though was like the big influence of me starting it though. And just bought boxes. And
Yes, we
all
know.
in. Yeah.
So where did your love begin? Like who got you into this game? Like for me, it was obviously a character, and I'll go on more about that. But so what was it that drew you right in?
The Mega Man set itself was just, I think the artwork as well is different.
Yeah.
It's like it's not all kind of cut and pressed. Every set's got its own artwork to it. Mega Man itself though, Mega Man was like who I wanted to start as.
How did that go for you?
I didn't. But the point of getting the demo though and starting properly, although I started with some Mega Man stuff, I think I also got Street Fighter as well. Got a wee kind of mix and match of everything really, and started with Sheepman.
Alright, I didn't know.
With Sheepman to start with.
I remember that because you actually took my Sheepman build to your first premiere
My
event.
first premiere, yeah.
That was actually...
It was actually pretty good, yeah.
Fair enough.
Got the grasp of the game pretty confidently.
Right.
But didn't start as Mega Man. Maybe one day.
Well, you know, who knows? Maybe in the future we'll get some future Mega Man content for you, and we'll see how you do. We're going to move on to Emma. Let's hear a bit about how you got into UFS.
Well, I properly started about 2 years ago, I'd say, with the Street Fighter set, but before that, Michael had actually made me try out his cube with all the legacy cards, and at that point I had no idea what I was doing, so we're drafting this. I knew the basic mechanics, but that was about it. And then a little bit later, the Street Fighter set came out, and I found Shiny Kami and Shiny Kami's Gyro Smasher, which was fun.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, like, I kind of see there's the ongoing joke in the community that trial by fire.
it's definitely trial by fire.
Trial by fire is how we play this game. So the same kind of thing happened. But so yeah, Kami. what happened after that?
Well, I played Cammy for a while. We went down to our first nationals. It was just me and Michael, and I was expecting to get absolutely wrecked, but I did not bad with Cammy. I won more games than I lost, which was nice.
I'm
Always a
pretty
plus.
sure, if I'm not mistaken, you were in the top 14. I think you finished 14 for that event,
Yeah.
which,
Was
given you only started playing with the Street Fighter release, was a bit ridiculous.
It's not bad. That's
A highlight.
a little bit higher than you.
Yeah, 2 spaces higher than me because I remember exactly we had Emma finished 14th, and then below Emma was Mike Hardman, last year's winning champ, or this year's winning. Last year's winning champ. And then directly under Mike we had myself, who was meant to be borrowing cards from Mike, who forgot them on the day, but he was a nice guy and he did his best to try and fix it up. Almost got higher on the rankings with such an awful deck.
Do you think if your deck was maybe better?
I think if my deck was maybe a little better, then no, I take anything away from Grant Padley, but the games were close, from what I remember.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I mean that's good. Like 2 years experience. Murray, you obviously have the longest experience of the game. Like I'm pretty sure you came out the wooden playing UFS. I mean, shouting out as he's coming out, do check.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I started with way back with Sabretooth Games. Back when you used to get the 2 releases at the same time. Penny Arcade had just dropped, and not long after we had Street Fighter and Soul Calibur 3 coming out at the same time. I got in with that release. Me and my cousin both went right into the game purely because a local store, the guy that worked in my local game store at the time, refused to sell me the Mega Man Battle Network card game that was kicking about at the same time.
Shout out to Stoney.
Well done, mate. Thank you very much. I'll buy you a pint when I see you. But yeah, he straight up refused to sell me this game because it was awful and told me to play UFS instead. And 13 year, 12 year, don't know exactly how many years later, I'm back playing UFS and yeah, loving it, man.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Yeah, not myself. My first experience of UFS back in 2009 probably.
Around about that time, man.
Yeah, I was playing War Machine at the time. I was a big miniature gamer. Card games were just not my thing. Like I hadn't even seen Magic at this point. And then Murray turns up to our local club with a Talon deck and some intro decks. He handed it out to everybody. We didn't want them. So yeah, it shows up with this Talon deck and he's like, yeah man, try this game. Like, it's really good. I have absolutely no clue what's going on. Like he's telling me to throw cards here and this is your momentum, that goes there, and like my head was fried. Let's be honest. Come back to last June, maybe April. Yeah, about April, June. Right, let's say April, June. I never really had a lot of gaming happening at the time. I gave up a lot of miniatures, I gave up Magic, gave up whatever else I was playing. And UFS was what everybody's playing. So I thought, yeah, I need to get in about this. So I bought a Street Fighter starter. Had a look at the cards, tried to play against myself, like I did with Netrunner when that came out. Trying to learn the mechanics. Then I got thrown into a draft. And that's how I learned how to play this game. In a draft. Absolutely no clue. Murray then puts out the sheet from Bebop, and it has the star rating for how difficult each character is to play. Yeah, that was 5 stars difficulty. That's who I'm drafting. I know how to play this game. so yeah, I'm trying to draft Faye. And I guess a couple of games in, and I still had no clue what was happening. And then I seen Felicia. The reason I chose Felicia, and I'll be honest, is that it was the cheapest entry point for me at that time.
It was a whole, before they started doing turbo deck, so it was still a full 60 card deck. You could just buy it and go.
Yeah. Well, and I like Felicia. Who doesn't like cat ladies? So yeah, I bought Felicia because it was the cheapest entry point. I got given some commons and stuff for yourself to help me along build up the deck. And I absolutely fell in love with her mechanic. Absolutely fell in love with it. It's still my favourite mechanic to this day. Kind of fell out with her a wee bit, but we'll get to that. I will get. I just love the pump 3 speed +2 max check. I can pass checks. My attacks are fast. That's how I want to play the game. And yeah, she failed. Well, that says we'll get to that. Then I went to Nats. I didn't ever think that my Felicia deck was strong enough to go to Nats, so I thought I'll try Scorpion. Like Scorpion's just that's 2 starters. It's 2 starters, mash them together. Cheap entry point yet again. There's a pattern here. And then that still wasn't working out for me. I still wasn't happy.
I believe it was only a couple of days before we decided to travel down, man, that you started branching, or opening your mind at least.
Yeah,
with other characters.
Yeah, because I was like, no, I'm going to get Scorpion to work. Like, yeah, this is happening for me. Like Scorpion, I like Scorpion. Get over here, Dragon Flare. This is a combo. Like this works, man.
It's basically just a guy with the pen and the pineapple, mate. Like that's no, he's Scott approach this.
Yes,
Let's get over here, Dragon Flare.
Get over here, Dragon Flare. Get over, Dragon Flare. But it still wasn't working. And then I says to Murray, like, what else can I play here? And he said Quan Chi, and I was like, yeah. Do you know what? That sounds amazing. Like Quan Chi. What does he do? It's bound to be good. Murray says it's good. It's bound to be good. Quan Chi. So he ran me through his deck, and Quan Chi's still my favourite character. Well, apart from Felicia, but we'll get there.
We're ever going to get there.
We will get there. We will. Quan Chi. Can't wait till the new Quan Chi comes out. I can go back to playing him because, like, I love that the whole I can be somebody else. I can be everybody, kind of thing. And I remember the argument, the double knee press, portal kick argument.
It wasn't an argument as much. It was more like
You're wrong.
A solid stance.
So in my Quan Chi build, I was playing a lot of charge attacks. I was playing the MC3 Devastator Cannon version, opposed to Mike Hardman's Overposter charge version of on to win Nats. And I was like, I don't really want to be trying to pass a 6, but double knee press means I can chuck a wee attack first and then make a decision later, keep my checks relatively about the same. And I remember the conversation with Scott as he wanted to swap out the double knee presses for portal kick.
Yep.
Because he wanted a reversal, or he wanted to be able to draw a card, or whatever reason he had for it. I'm like, okay mate, like, you do you, you're playing the deck. But I also do remember the morning that we're catching the bus down to Nationals, or down to Sheffield at least, and Scott saying to me, yeah mate, you were right, I've kept the double knee press in the deck. And then to go a step further, Scott approaching me at the end of day 1 of Nats and saying, you know what mate, double knee press is then my favourite attack. Yeah. Justification.
It's still my favourite attack. Like, if I can play double knee press in a deck, it will be getting played. I realise I just kind of segued right on the Nats. So we'll go around. We all went there. And we'll find out. We'll come to Murray last because he did really well in the singles, and then we'll talk about teams. But we'll start with Connor about his experience about Nats. So how did Nats go for you? Let's talk about singles first.
So, singles on Nats. Like,
well, singles Nats and then
single
team
Nats. Yeah. It was the first major event, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was definitely the first major.
Because I think prior.
Did we even have a premiere event?
No.
No, we did. We had one premiere event prior to Nats.
Prior to it, because that was my sheet
Because
man.
Alan won.
Yeah, because I was sheet man for that. And then, obviously, MK had dropped
Yeah.
Before match, and one of my things with the sets was I had a blind pick. So I went, if Goro's in this set, that's my character, that's who I'll be playing, full stop. Don't care if he's rubbish, that's who I was going. So the set comes out, Goro's in it, Goro's got a 4-hand size, I'm a new player. It was a jump. And initially my build was all throws. The initial build was all throws. I hadn't opened enough other sets at the time where I had like missile launcher and stuff that I now use in my current builds. So like I think my most expensive card would have been the Mexican Typhoon, which shocked the world when I was like throwing the worst one check in the game practically into this because it had throw in it and that was the theme. My overall experience in that was actually quite good. It was, I think my record was quite like mid-table. Like it was like 3 draws to like the 1 win. What was it? 1 win, 3 draws and a loss or something like that, or 1-2-1 or something. So like put me like bang in like 22nd, which was still like the top half of the table.
That's pretty respectable.
Because I think there was 51 or 53 or something people. So it was not not bad for like basically being my second event from a game that I was very new to and hadn't had a lot of experience with, like the bigger sets at the time. It was actually pretty good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I mean, would you take it? I mean, like personally, I learned how to play the game, and that's like this is where everything just went click. This is what's happening. You know, like wow, this is UFS. So I mean, like 20 seconds.
It was still a respectable score.
And with your own deck as well.
I mean, that was the thing as well. It was just stuff I
like, I think I came 13th, but it wasn't my own deck, and I suppose none of my accomplishments are my own deck because I cannot deck build at all, and I hold my hands up to that. Like, I'm not the best.
I made the attempt. I mean, one of my ties was against you.
Yeah.
At Nats as well. For better or worse.
Well,
that's a story in itself.
Do we really want to get into that?
No, that'll get me here.
That's an entire.
That's a subject for topic.
It's a subject for another podcast, man. Like,
but yeah, no, Nats was probably like a big eye opener to like gameplays, and like seeing other Goro players was actually a big thing for me because I was able to say like, oh, there's like decks I've been building, but I don't own the cards yet, but at least I know they work, which is quite nice to notice. They get Richard, was who I played.
Richard Basendale and Rio Gopal. Both those. Played
Richard's deck was pretty much the exact same as what I had built, but just didn't own the cards for going down as such. So I stuck with my original build, which it still did well enough. I can't complain about it for what I owned at the time, which was not bad actually.
Cool. Yeah, let's hear about. I mean, you're a bit quiet there, but let's hear about your experience at Nats.
Oh, to start with, I absolutely love Nationals. Like the experience of getting to be able to play with so many other different decks and people is just every time I go, it's a great experience. At the time, I was playing Liu Kang. Now I know what you're thinking, but I didn't mean to pick the meta deck. Honestly. Had lots of great games, lots of close games. There was 2 other Liu Kang players, and I was pretty sure that I wasn't making top cut just due to the fact there was 2 other Liu Kang players.
Was there only 2?
I think there was. I'm not sure if there was 3 in total, but there was definitely 2 pushing the top 10.
Yeah.
There was two that I was aware of, because one of them I played and managed to get a tie from. It was the one with the set that we didn't have.
He was playing the Jedi attack, Necro something. Can't remember.
We will find that.
Neo Vaca.
Oh,
Neo Vaca. There we go. Because I ended up playing against the same guy during the Swiss, and the other one was Nathan. For the life of me, mate, I can't remember your second name. It might be James. But you were a lovely opponent. I did get to play against the same teams, but well done in making finals.
but I was more than happy to get a draw against the Name of Attica deck, and then came up against the other Lukang deck later, I'm pretty sure, and lost to it, or either that or it placed higher than me. Can't fully remember.
I do remember you got diversified.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you weren't. I'm pretty sure you didn't cut for the top or make the top 8, but due to other diversities, so you might have been 9th or 10th.
I think it was 9th after taking it into account.
Yeah, and then you did get the prize for at least being diversified.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, so where did you finish?
We think it was 9th.
9th
Yeah.
or 10th
After
one,
the
so it was-
verification, so it's a little step up from last time. So top 8 next time is the.
Well,
top
we're all going to be top 8 next time.
Scottish top 8 at Nationals next year.
It's happening.
No Canadians, no Americans, no English.
Oh, we're gonna bring a team and all make top 8.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
plan.
Which means there has to be 8 of us in
Well, we had 8 last year.
Yeah, we
There
did
was
have
8
eight
in show
aye.
last year, which is a massive improvement over the fact we had 2 the year prior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that was obviously a good experience there. We're going to come on to Murray, who did make top 8 with the deck that was.
A D tier. at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
It was D tier at the time.
Oh, mate, Barrett Bryant made the deck famous. Like, he is premier Cassie Cage player, man. Like, US Nats champion with the deck. But yeah, I took Cassie Cage to Nationals. Basically, I'd been testing a bunch of things. I was testing the Quan Chi deck that Scott would inevitably take. I was mucking about with a couple other decks that for the life of me can't even remember now.
It was loads at the time.
I was even toying with taking Blanker, which I took the year prior, but I actually been able to play the deck I wanted to play this time. And I realised that my casual games deck, the deck that I was just playing to have fun with, Cassie Cage, was picking up wins. And picking up wins more frequently than some of the decks I was actually testing to take to Nats. This is probably definitely in the part thanks to Emma deciding she was taking Liu Kang so early on. I was like, okay, I expect Liu Kang to be strong. What can I do to play against Liu Kang? What really solidified it in stone for me of who I was taking was I messaged Shane Duckworth on Facebook, and I was like, hey mate, I need to ask a few questions just to make sure I know the rules of this deck perfectly. And it turned out I'd been misplaying Shadow Inheritance. I didn't realise that your block modifiers could go out in negative numbers. And holy, like, whatever, man, like, Liu Kang just has no game when you can go, yeah, I'll give -9 or -12 to my block modifier, eat my breaker free. Like, that, really amazing. But yeah, singles from that, I finished King of Swiss and then got knocked out by the eventual winner, Mike Hardman, in the semis after like a 2-hour epic where we were both like, he won overall 2-1. I loved my entire Nats experience. Same again, like, looking forward to next year, gonna go down, gonna practice more, gonna like, I'm not content with just being kind of Swiss, man. I'm gonna win it, or at least make the finals with a mate, and we can have like rock paper scissors to see who wins it. But yeah, though I do need to segue. As much as I enjoyed singles Nats, I really enjoyed team Nats. There was 8 of us went down. We'd made an agreement prior to going down that whoever finished in the top 3 slots from the Scottish team will take Team A, and the rest, the other 5 can decide who's Team B. 2 of the players decided that they would sit out so the 3 of them could enter. And I ended up teaming with Scott and Emma, and we went to team finals against, for the life of me, I'm pretty sure it was Dan Austin, Oliver, can't remember your second name, Oliver Hill, and Rio Gopal. Amazing guys. We had such banter. It was, to be honest, such a good laugh through and through playing against them. A lot of good fun, man, like playing against these guys.
Oh yeah.
Proper intense matches. It was lovely.
Yeah, highlight of the moment for me was after mining Dan Austin's game had finished. Dan Austin was playing Liu Kang at the time. Well, game wraps up, and Rio shouts over to Dan, like, what happened, mate? And Dan's like, oh, 3 low for 17, shouting. and Rio pauses with a puzzled look for a moment and goes, "Did you take it?" Oh, man, that encapsulates the entire laughter I had really in that finals. Though I do have a bone to pick, and it's not the bone that my teammates think I've got to pick.
Okay.
I've got a story from what happened round 1 of teams, where we get paired against this opposing team, and we lay out our characters, and it's our first time experiencing this. Like, I've never been in this situation before. So we've laid out, and we win the dice roll to determine who's playing against who. I look around the room, and all these other teams have went into huddles to talk strategies and tactics. I look to Scott, and I'm like, "Wait, what do you think, mate?" And Scott just kind of goes, "Hands up, you're in charge. I trust your decision." Okay, I'm like, try to talk to Emma to see what she thinks, and Emma's too busy reading the opponent's character cards. This goes on for a few minutes before Emma finally turns around and tells us, "Oh, Yamato man, I played against this deck yesterday, and I won." And it's like, come on, hen. Like,
It was a hard match.
but still, like, hey, I beat this deck, yeah? You look at the character, you look at the player, go, "I beat you." You need to go for it, don't you?
No, 100%.
But I can't speak higher of the Scottish team in general that came down. With the exception of Emma, everyone was at least under 1 year into playing the game, and they all placed relatively well. Couldn't be prouder. Alan, you need to up your game.
I mean, like, just one. Like, I mean, you were talking about your favourite memory there from teams. Like, mine was obviously we were playing against the Stoneman team.
Oh, the Stoneman team.
Yeah. So yeah, like, I'm playing against Stoneman. Who did you have?
I was playing against Faye, I think. Oh, no,
I
did
played Faye that time.
You
I
played
Yeah.
Faye,
So I don't
and I
know.
played the Lucan
No.
match.
Yeah.
Or was-
Yeah, you played
Yeah.
the
Oh,
Lucan.
yeah.
Yeah, and like Emma finishes her game, she's won, and then Murray finishes his game, and he just turns to me and says, "Are you still playing, Scott?" And I'm just like, "Yes, yes, we're through."
That deck was nuts.
The Stoneman or the...
Stoneman deck.
No, man, never again.
Not one thought bad about or ill about my opponents at least, but we got paired against the same team in the round before the cut to the top 4, and I got Stoneman player, we've laid out our characters, they have choice, and the Stoneman guy's talking about how he's got a good matchup against Cassie. And I'm like, "Cool, mate, we'll go for it." I know that I've got a lot of mechanics in my deck to tap things down. I'm packing like 2 secret histories, I'm packing some other tricks. Just need to tap Stoneman down, get a good turn. And I do. And I take a game off the Stoneman and we end up going to time in game 3 we go to time. But when we got paired for the top cut, and we got paired against this same team again, and they won the dice roll again to pair the rounds, I couldn't help but look at this guy and just say to him, "I dare you, like, go for it. We don't have time this time, or time on this round, mate. I will play you." And he decided to pair into Wakonshi instead. But I will.
I would have still beat him. Like, it was happening. I just maybe took a wee bit of time. I'd have still beat him. So yeah, I mean, that was our Nats experience. Like, first major for all of us. Like Murray says, less than a year playing. I think I'd been playing for a couple of months at that point. Really learned how to play the game. Pretty sure Connor did as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like, I fell in love. Like, UFS is the game for me. I'm still playing. That speaks enough for itself. So for here, we're going to take a short break. Welcome back to UFScotland, the number 1 place for UFS in Scotland and the UK. So before the break, we went on about nationals. Poor Connor didn't get to talk about his experience. Would you like to talk about your experience?
Do you want me to talk about my experience?
Would you like to talk about your experience? Because like, I
My
feel like we're leaving you out
experience,
here.
my experience at teams was a self-destructive team effort by myself, DK and Adam. To start the day off, DK didn't bring his deck and had to Uber the shit out of that early morning to get back to the house to get his deck, came back in time, fair enough, in time, for us to get paired into our first match. We seen the same as yourselves, like people like huddling up, picking, and I just went, I want to play Raiden.
I mean,
So that was our pick completely. Well, I put my card down, and that was my pick done.
Did you enjoy playing Raiden?
I beat Raiden. I did enjoy it. I was very quite happy. I played Ricky Gapal, I think it is. And it was my like loss from singles, but it was intensely close. I'm sure he was my loss.
really?
I was,
You're just not helping yourself here by telling me that you lost to him in single.
I think I did. Did I draw
You
it?
couldn't
No, I
have
might have
played
drew. What? Yeah, I did. He was playing Raiden.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it.
We'll restart, mate. But Ricky Gopal was playing Reptile, and he was my first round opponent at Queen's.
No, he was playing Raiden in singles.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Yeah,
singles the day
yeah, it
before.
was playing Raiden in
The
singles.
day
Oh,
before.
right, okay,
which is,
but I thought you were saying you were
oh,
playing against
right,
European
okay.
teams. That's why I was like,
No. No, I was playing him, and I'd played him in singles, and he was playing Raiden.
okay.
I've seen his deck and how pretty it was, just dead close. I had made a couple of misplays, and then seeing that, I was like, I don't fear Raiden, and it's like, I'll play this guy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, I took one for the team. Can't remember what the other guys played at the time. We went into like the second round of matches, and I looked across the table, and it was the guys with the My Hero Academia get up,
Oh, the cosplays, man.
and I said to DK, I know who that guy in the middle is. That's Grant Padley. I don't care what Adam thinks and if he knows or not, but he's playing him. So like we won I think every dice off for like picking first, and I went Scorpion mirror match. Again, we didn't huddle until like I think the last game.
Yeah.
We didn't huddle. I just self-sabotage my team and picked for them. Adam did fair enough going to win, as he'll never let anyone ever forget that moment. I played the reptile guy, and it was just up to the last minute. I eventually lost, won first game, lost the second game, and then the third one was just a pure clutch moment. He got it. Third, can't remember the third game. I think the third was against you, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
third
Yeah,
was-
yep.
Third against us, 'cause I remember you huddling. 'Cause
Yeah, that was the huddle.
we thought that we were kind of in for a bit of an easy match, getting paired against the B team. Not quite enough XP, or
Not enough XP.
not enough XP. And instantly when they won the dice off, they turn and huddle, which I'm outstanding by. I can't believe it, because my own team wouldn't fucking huddle with me. Yeah.
I didn't need to huddle. Just tell me who I'm playing against, and I'll play against that.
But I was really impressed. You've at least fought out your matches.
No.
Well, I mean,
I think I says I can at least tie with Quan Chi.
Yep.
And took that. The problem was especially we had the fear of Cassie already instilled in us going down. I don't think any of us were expecting to win that matchup, and it was right, who plays Michael?
Oh,
It's like
give me
I think
dues,
that
man. DK, David Kennedy, he took Faye in the team.
Yeah, he took Faye.
Yeah.
It was an okay match. It was a really bad matchup for him because I played against his deck a lot.
Yeah.
But he took a hit for your team and paired into me.
Yeah.
Or we paired
Aye,
into him.
because into round 4, after we'd lost that one, into round 4, there was a jury deck, there was a vicious deck, and then there was the robot person Heidi.
Yeah.
And it was the jury deck. I had seen it getting played a wee bit, and it was it's just a one-hit combo kind of thing. If it can set up its
Oh,
combo,
it was ace maneuver, wasn't
yeah.
it?
If it was setting up its combo, it was at least doing 45 damage in turn 3, and that's off of 2 attacks. Now I was like, well, if he can get the combo, I'm maybe the only one who could take it, so I had to properly die on the sword. So game 1 for me was in turn 2. I had to just swing to try and win. So I got down to 3 health in the first game. Then he did these 45 plus damage to me. I was like, right, cool, game 2, and then did the exact same again. Got down to about 3 or 4 health on turn 2, and then died to 45 plus.
I mean, these things happen.
It was it was just tough matchups we had as well. But aye, that was basically my experience from teams. But I thoroughly, you couldn't beat it. Like, it was a proper event to go to. It was like one of those ones, like, knowing that we all travelled down for it was dead nice. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean,
bar,
great weekend.
bar the bus journey.
Yeah, I was
Bar
gonna
the
say.
bus journey. It was a solid experience to travel for.
You know what? As much as we look back and we complain about that bus journey and the 8 hours of travel that we had to do, man, down
Past
and
Edinburgh.
back.
And round about Edinburgh, I'm
Aye.
pretty sure.
Apparently we went like a mad mystery tour across Scotland before finally went out in England.
Crossing the border.
But I'd do it again. If that was the only way down.
Yeah,
I'd do it again.
100%.
Adam, you're
We'll all be
driving me
there.
down next time.
Adam,
You're getting a minibus.
minibus,
We're
the
driving
squad
down.
will chip in.
Aye.
So yeah, I mean that brings us on to our recent premiere event. So the way I'm going to do this is us three played in the event. So I'm going to start with Murray because this is your first time.
Well, yeah, this was I made the decision. Just basically take a back seat and purely be a scout and organise events. I wanted to try and help the newer players a bit more and spend time refining their decks in the build up to the premier events, opposed to working on my own. That being said, I did craft a couple of mad decks prior to the event. But yeah, I spent a couple of days in the run up. I designed an E-Honda deck and helped out one of our players who hasn't really had a chance to make it to locals recently. And I helped out one of our newer players who's just joined us from Australia. Helped him out with Scorpion deck and made sure he had a basic understanding of the rules. It was good. Like, don't get me wrong, I missed playing, but I wouldn't trade like the chance to help people out, man, and like make sure things are going smoothly, make sure that I can float about, watch people's games. A wee bit gutted that I missed the chance to set up the stream. Well, not even the stream. Set up the chance to record games this time, just due to time constraints. But yeah, it was good. Nice event, ran smoothly. Looking forward to the next one.
You were playing in that one, yeah?
I think I might play in that one, purely because the premiere, I don't know if you've had a chance to see, but the premiere event has been shown off for the February event, and it's our first Soul Calibur 6 map, and I kind of want it, so I might play in that one. If I'm not playing it though, I will. Yeah, if I'm not playing it though, I'll definitely need to leave it up to Emma to bring that prize back to my house anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about my own experiences before I come on to our two finalists. We'll go myself, Connor, then Emma, who obviously won. So yeah, I mean, I took Felicia. I told you we would get there. I'm now getting there. I mean,
a hug. I'll give you a hug.
oh,
It's all good, man.
like,
She was good at one point.
I'm guessing she was. Like, I still love the mechanic. +3 speed, +2 nice check. Like, if it deals damage, I love the mechanic. I'm guaranteed momentum if I play an attack. You know, I love it. I love to play with the momentum and stuff. But primarily when I was playing Felicia, I was playing air. The reason being was earlier in my days I got a hold of 2 swordfish and some bang. And yeah, basically every deck I built has had 2 swordfish, 3 bang.
That's a good reason to build that, man. Like,
Yeah, like when I played Scorpion, 2 swordfish, 3 bang. So I wanted to try and get away from that because it still wasn't working, so I tried Chaos. Like, I'm going to play a bit with momentum this time. And I thought, right, let's have a look. What attacks do I have? Right, I can't play Flipcat now. What else do I have? And I seen Assassination Attempt and this Smite combo. I thought, yeah, man, this is like nobody's going to see this coming, and I'm not maybe seeing it coming because nobody expected me to play Felicia because it was just for fun. I wanted to make this work so badly. I had a day of testing because I don't get to play as much anymore, but like, I had a day of testing with Murray, and my day of testing didn't go amazing. I didn't really win anything, I don't think.
I don't.
No, I don't.
A single game, mate.
No, I don't think I did.
I think the most success your deck had was when I played it against Ellen.
Yeah, probably.
That was
However, I mean, like, you'd already seen my videos prior.
Yeah.
You knew it was happening. I didn't win on my day of testing. I thought, but it's still working how I wanted it to work.
It was fun.
Like things were happening. I was able to play with my momentum exactly how I wanted, and it was working. I was able to pull off the assassination attempts, might combo. I was able to pass checks. And then so I turns up to the premiere event, and they're all like, "You're actually playing Felicia." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to win. Felicia's winning this. Felicia's on the mat. She's winning." So I comes up against Sam with Ed and Nine in the first round playing Punch and Judy, and game 1 comes along. I should have mulliganed my first hand, like it should have happened. I decided to keep for some crazy reason. I have no idea why I kept it, and I played like 2 foundations, and then I just kept drawing attacks, and nothing was happening. Like I got momentum, and by this point I get my momentum. I think I'm getting set up, ready to go back, and I'm dead. Punch and Judy. Game 2 kind of went the same, and by this point I was like, oh well, that's that done. So I got paired down to Matt, who was playing Gil, and the same kind of thing happens. Like I draw up at my hand, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm good to go. Yeah, we've got this. And I start getting set up with Felicia, gets my 2 momentum, ready to start passing checks, and I die. And okay. Next one comes along, and I just could not pass a check for the life of me. Like I constantly hitting 3s, constantly. I don't play less than a 3, by the way. Like this is consistent. I do not play a 2 check or a 1 check in any deck I build. It will ruin my day. So yeah, I'm like, this is going to work. So I'm constantly checking 3s, and I just can't do anything, and I lose again. And then I come up against Chris with E-Honda. I'm thinking to myself, I should have this in the bag. I mean, Chris is a kind of newer player.
Right.
He doesn't really know what's happening.
So Chris has technically been playing for quite a while.
Yeah.
But due to he travels a lot for work, and he can't really make it to locals often. So as much as he's been playing for a while, you're lucky if he's played more than 30 games, if that.
Yeah.
But
and like I'm saying, yeah, I mean I should have this game, like not because I'm going to take advantage of anybody, because I'll help out my new players. Like I was there once. So yeah, I mean I'll always help the guy out. But I'm thinking, right, I should have this. And then he goes on and he decks me out game 1, and I'm like, what's happening here? Like, test your might, like twice in a row, and I'm like, what?
the thing with the deck he was playing, it was designed to almost every attack in the deck can get itself to 10 damage minimum, maybe more if needed. So when he's getting to that 10 damage, even if the test your might wasn't involved, Felicia's put in a hard place. It's like, what do I do? Do I partial and take a quarter of my health?
Yeah.
And still have to exile? Do I fully block and have to exile? Or do I just take half health worth of damage off one attack?
Or do you peaceful messenger?
But regardless of how much you push it, I don't stand by Peaceful Messenger as a card. There's far too many other similar effects.
Or cheaper, better.
Yeah.
Pretty fight.
Yeah.
Frost barrier or Patron Saint.
I mentioned earlier, I'm not the best at deck building. Like this was a labour of love for me. Like this is like a deck I built. Murray didn't build it, so that's another reason I thought, yeah, I'm going to do this. Peaceful Messenger didn't work. I won't be playing it again. So yeah, I mean, yeah, no, like, so I got decked out, and I was like, just as I was about to, like, same thing happened. I'm set up. I'm ready to go. Like, if I got some momentum, I can do things. Oh no, I can only pass like 3 more checks and the game's done. And then the last game was against our newest player, Chris from Australia. Just came over from Australia. He's playing Scorpion, and straight away I'm thinking, what did I do here? Like, he's just going to come in at me, plus 6 damage.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, fair dues to him. He pulled off a play that I was not expecting at one point because he was a new player. Like, game 1, he lost to me because he cut himself too much. I think he took himself down to like 8 health, and he wasn't expecting me to swing back. I didn't have my 2 momentum, I don't think, at this point, and I just kind of swung back with my assassination attempts might that he obviously hadn't seen before. So I took game 1, then game 2, I took him down to about 16 or something, and I was ready to. What was it? No. He just ended his turn. He had no cards in hand. That's what. Yeah, he had no cards in hand. And he was on 16, and I was thinking, like, I'm looking at my hand. I'm like, yeah, I've got you, man. I've got you. And then he starts cutting himself, and I'm like, why are you cutting yourself? What's happening here? He was actually taking himself to desperation so he could draw a card. I can't remember.
Arranging a deal.
Yeah. So he arranging a deal with me, like, so he could get a block. And that's what I was like, wow, like, I would never have thought of that, because obviously I didn't think it. I just thought, what are you doing, mate? You're just killing yourself, making this easier for me. So I mean, I was really impressed by that, which is great because he's a new player. And then I need to really go and take a good think to myself about what's going to happen in the future. Like, I don't want to give up Felicia. Like, it's my favourite mechanic.
You've still got what? Assuming that they do release in a 3-month schedule, you've got 9 months to make Felicia good before she goes, man.
Yeah, well, let's see what comes in. Let's see what comes in Soul
Calibur.
Calibur. Yeah, let's see what comes in Soul Calibur, and we'll see if I can make anything happen. But I mean, that was my experience. I came dead last. Proud achievement.
It's okay, man. It's not like it affects any sort of rankings.
Yeah, no.
At least you'll get easy games, hopefully.
Yeah.
Next time.
I mean, that wasn't mentioned. In fact, this premiere event was seeded.
Yeah, so I tried something new. Because I had the tournament data from basically a full year worth of events, drafts, standard, release events, you name it. I've been keeping track of every result. So I actually took a page out of the local fighting game community, and I got some advice on how to seed a bracket and make my own standings. So I'm going to roll with this for the next couple of weeks, couple of months maybe, see how it pans out. I have some issues with the concept already, with we're two best the two best constructed players are a bit miles ahead of each other, miles ahead of the rest of the group, so they'll be being paired into each other for a while. But we'll do some testing and see how it goes. Worst comes to worst, we just go back to random seeding.
Yeah.
You can enjoy many more months of playing Craig.
Oh, fun.
His
games are good, to be
as
fair.
much as it's a hard matchup straight out of the bat, it means that a new player isn't running the risk of being paired into one of the two better players.
The better players, yeah.
But if you want to know more about the seeding thing, feel free to message me and I'll gladly talk you through what I've done.
Yeah. So, Connor, let's hear about your premiere event experience.
So, I used to have a beard. That is probably the premise there and stuff. Basically, at the end of last year, there was the 2 premiere events. Like, initially I was working them, and then like just was able to get the days off. But getting the days off, like the day after all the work and stuff like that, I was building decks like on the day twice.
Yeah.
It's like, I had wanted to play Gil, but just didn't have the cards. We're hoping they were going to arrive, didn't arrive. Tough luck. Went back to Goro and just didn't have half the cards on me at the time, so I had to like scrap build a wee Goro deck. Came last. Then like the last event, same kind of scenario. Was waiting on decks to play. Had to rebuild Goro. So it very much knocked my confidence in playing Goro for quite a bit. And then for this one I decided, no, I'm playing Goro one last time. I'm going to make this work. So I had about a week where I was like constructing a deck. We played on the Friday. We played
So what you need to understand at this point is, as much as Connor may have made his Premier Store debut as Sheepman, every other event he's played in, even Nationals,
Bar
he
one.
bar one.
Bar one. I played Marathi, the second one.
Oh, he
Yeah.
played Marathi, second one.
And then
Okay.
the Mortal Kombat
Sheep-
release dropped. And then
So we had
Goro
Sheepman,
since.
Marathi, and then every other one afterwards he's played exclusively Goro. Even in draft events, I'm pretty sure you were
Yeah,
pretty
it's how I got
tunnel
all my
vision.
cards.
Yeah.
It's how I got my
Goro.
cards.
Uh,
You don't get 6 Shokin Princes without trying something. never got one out of pack. All drafts. So like basically Goro's been my pick. It was my blind pick and the last two really knocked my confidence, but this one I decided no, I want to play him. Sat for a week, made deck, tested it against Adam, who was playing possibly. His Jada is possibly the most. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like it's such a tough matchup that like I couldn't really figure a way around it, and knowing I was going to end up playing it at some point potentially was like, how do I beat this? So I sat and took a week, constructed Goro the way I really wanted it, played him and 2-0'd him like in practice to the point where he then didn't play Jada at the event. He switched to Donovan. Because he just didn't think he could then beat Goro if he get matched up to him. That's what happened. Played like DK and Murray. I done so well where I was like, right, this is going to work. Let's up the ante. If I lose a tournament game, I will shave my beard. Was going into it. That was the bet.
We will be releasing before and after pictures.
Yeah, they will be on screen.
before, after, and during.
Aye.
Without audio though.
Without audio.
Aye, it's just the waterworks.
Hello darkness now.
So game one for me, so because of like bad events, my seeding was I was the bottom of the table. I was dead last in seeding. So game one I play Gil, I play Matt with Gil, and game one was just a slow grind of slowly whittling him down to the point where even with enough attacks he couldn't build himself back up to get in the win. But it took about 40 minutes to get the win. Into game two, like time ran out. I then go on to play Sam with Eddie 9. And he had so many answers. Like I just couldn't hit him enough with the amount of answers he had. So it was another long grind to win game one, and then game two just like stalled out essentially. I couldn't see any attacks.
Oh, I believe it was Keenan Meadows who shared the pro tip of you win game one
Well,
and then game two you take the time. But,
I wasn't trying, it just was happening. Game three, then go on to play Akuma against Emma, and go on to 2-0 Akuma.
That was painful.
In quite a full-on fashion. It was pretty aggressive. Game one was just I kept swinging with throws, and then game two I think I like flipped most of your foundations in game two. I was able to do it. So it managed that. So I'm still keeping my beard. Then game four, play Hutton with Takeda, and I think it went like 2-1. Got the first game, lost second, then managed to get the third. So I made top cut from like a deck that I was very much struggling with, trying to find how to win with it, to like King of Swissing quite confidently with the 4-0 into top four.
I mean, well, see, to be fair, like, if I had your record with Goro, like, I'd have thrown him in the bin ages ago, you
So
know.
not the same with Felicia though.
He never really took Felicia to an event though, so he was able to hide behind this curtain of she might still do good.
Yes, I still believe that there's still potential, man. She's just, I just need to get it right. I've not tried water yet. Maybe that's my, maybe that's where I need to go.
Did I not try water?
You may have, but I haven't.
I think the build that I messed with was water.
Yeah, like, water's
Was it-
next. Water's next.
Momentum
Water's
gaining
for
one.
next
The
month.
momentum one and
I've actually got another deck in mind for next month, but yeah.
Into top cuts, played Hutton again.
yeah, you got pairing with Hutton and knockouts.
I think it was a 2-0.
It was a 2.
Wasn't it? And into the finals. So I'm already ecstatic. I've made finals from basically wanting to throw away a character and keeping the beard at this point. So I went 5-0, which was not bad, can't complain. Then reality hit, and I get 2-0'd after like 20 minutes of actually playing the game, 2 hours of watching Johnny Gargano fighting.
We had an awkward situation that happened at our last Premier event. It fell on the same day that the Royal Rumble would be that night for the UK, or that day for the States.
It's the States, yeah.
And in Scotland, or Glasgow at least, you can't buy alcohol after 10 o'clock at night. So we had to pause in between the semi-finals and the finals, so we could go to Tesco to pick up beer or other assorted things, and come back. And the finals were actually played in the flat before we watched the wrestling. During which some of the guys were catching up on NXT Takeover, which normally happens the night prior. And Emma's boyfriend, Johnny Gargano, his match came on, and Emma requested that the finals actually be paused until she watches the entirety of this match.
He's a good wrestler.
He's a good wrestler. Yeah, that's why she was watching him. Good wrestling.
But yeah, like, Connor had no objections, no real objections at least, and they paused the game until like...
You were watching it too?
I know, I can't say it, I was watching the match as well. Yeah, so it was like a 2-hour final that consisted of about 20 minutes of actual gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've got to ask, right, because I was in the kitchen all night. Like, do you think that affected anything, like, the fact that he's took a break? I mean, like, when I go into UFS mode, I'm there the day, and I'm like, I'm here to play UFS, but then the fact that he's took a break to sit and watch wrestling, I mean, my mind would go elsewhere. I mean, there was also distractions and stuff. Like, did you not find that affected you?
Affecting the free Copperberg affected me. No, I think in any environment you just have to, like, you focus on your game. And
I pretty much zoned out when we went back to it, so...
Yeah, fair enough.
I totally get where you're coming from, man. Like, especially even as something as simple as saying to your opponent, and especially in untimed finals, once you go into that final round, say to your opponent, here mate, can I have 30 minutes just to like chill? That can make a massive difference, man. It's the whole question of, if I gave myself that 5 minutes to recuperate, to like just de-stress or whatever. But I think it was definitely a benefit that you were both coming back here anyway. You were mates, there was no tension, it wasn't as though one you had to go somewhere else. You were able to go, right guys, we want to take a breather. I'd like to think that the crowd of people sitting on the couch who really should be watching the wrestling but are so engrossed in a game of UFS didn't have any impact. But realistically, if we were still on the floor, there'd be a crowd of people standing watching.
I know that, yeah. I get that.
You must have experienced it with you and Adam's finals, like the month, 2 months prior.
Well, in fact, like, I suppose I just zoned you out. Yeah, you're right.
It just happens.
Yeah. That's it, man. You just kind of...
Yeah, fair enough. Like,
you stop paying attention.
I never thought about it like
you
that.
focus on your game. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I can't think it impacted. My checks just buggered me. Game 1 was just... I couldn't... There was just so many failed checks. Where I was like, I couldn't catch up.
Yeah.
And then game 2 I was cheated.
Cheated.
Yeah, I was solely denied on failing 1 check at the end for the game. And then Akuma decided, no, I can do 27.
Not that at all. No, I mean, that's like, yeah, I mean, coming from like the bottom of the table, making it to finals like that's obviously a really good achievement. Hopefully next time that we get there. Like, I'm rooting for you.
I know that's that.
Well, it's difficult, man. Like, partly I'm proud that you made it from the bottom to the finals, but next time there's a chance I'm playing. So like, don't get your hopes up now.
Anyway, you're not the best, mate. Stop kidding on me.
I'm not the best, but I do believe I have more game experience than the rest of my community combined.
Well, that's maybe because you've played the game more than...
That's probably because I've been playing the game for the best part of a decade, but still.
Emma's the best.
Emma is the best.
So let's hear about your experience, because obviously you won the thing for the 3rd time in a row.
Not in a row.
On a row.
It's not in a row because you interrupted it.
Oh, so I did, yeah.
Because it went, Emma won with Jackie, then Scott took Cassie, won Cassie, then Emma won with Akuma, won with Akuma.
I didn't build Cassie.
The Cassie deck was a wee bit suspect. It looked like Barrett Bryant's.
Yeah.
No, fair enough, right, so but you're the first winner of 2019, at least.
Yep.
How did your day go?
So again, Akuma, you might be thinking she's just picking the best character again, but I honestly fell in love with Akuma when we were first doing pre-releases and seeing him in drafts.
I think she fell in love with Akuma when she realised she just wanted to be the king.
Let's come to just before that. I mean, before you've even picked Akuma, because you've won the Gonna take Akuma.
Well, Michael had made a guild deck. The guild deck was
Putting out there, just in case any of the local community watches, some of the guys haven't actually seen this guild deck yet, so I'm going to put a kibosh on like details in this deck.
As Scott would say,
This is
super secret tech.
It's
It's
super
only to be
secret.
seen at
I've seen it. I can beat this with my Felicia deck. I know how to beat
you
it.
can beat it
I
with the
can
Felicia
beat it with your
deck.
Felicia deck.
I can imitate it.
Well, not going into too much detail, but I'd only played one match with it, so I didn't really feel confident, especially going against some people that were going to hit pretty hard, like Goro, Scorpion, so I decided stick with what I know, at least for this time. So, Akuma. So, just going into the rounds, played Craig Hutton to start with, who was playing Takeda. I've played against Takeda, I think maybe once or twice, so I know roughly what he's going to do. I was a little bit sort of surprised by the amount of times he was sort of copying the combo abilities, but he did at one point get to a stage where he didn't have much cards in hand. I think I might have messed up some of his checks, and Akuma just went for it.
So I'm going into the deck here. Craig Hutton, who you probably hear us talk about a lot, he's a really well-established local player. Is probably the second, if not most experienced player locally. I know he was well-established when I started the game. Well, I guess well-established, Pinch both has got in the game around at the same time. But he's definitely someone that I used to compete against, like, years ago, man, like, going back 10 years. I would see Craig at events and stuff. He's definitely one of the two longest reigning members of our community and one of the better players locally. Recently he's jumped to Takeda because he's waiting on Jasko getting Liu Kang reprinted because Liu Kang is his bae.
Yeah.
He loves them fireballs.
And is fair and balanced.
And fair and balanced. Can't believe that's the first time we say that.
Yeah, like that's pretty much.
It will be the title for the podcast, though.
Fair and balanced.
So, I went against Takeda. Really fun match. Wouldn't fault Craig at all. Going to my second match. So Chris, the new player from Australia, he's won his first game. Good on him. And going to his game against Scorpion. With him being a new player, of course, during the matches and stuff, I was sort of pointing out things. The first time he kind of went, he didn't really know what to do, to be honest, because I wasn't hitting him, and what he'd kind of came to think was he'd get hit and then he could do the damage himself and then he'd be in desperation, but
It's actually funny you bring that up because that was a sort of conversation that me and Chris had later that night. Was when me and Chris were getting these demo games in and basically teaching them how to play. I was at least poking a bit at the start, but realistically in Scorpion you don't want to poke the bell. Like he's probably the best example of just hit him once or twice for settle for next turn. Because if you even do that, he can easily enough, man, put himself at 13 and he's no longer a bell, man. He's coming at you with full force. So I think that threw him a bit during the event because a lot of players, not only yourself, but even like Scott and
Yeah, I did that.
I think the only example would be E Honda, who had a really bad matchup against Scorpion, because E Honda wants you to block and Scorpion's like, nah mate, I'll take it. But yeah.
He went into deadlock quite early on, and I got sadistic ways. I'd been using some fatalities, so at that point I was just able to four copies, and he then realised the potential dangers of deadlock. Game 2, kind of just before the game, sort of went over a little bit on ways he can put himself down to desperation, but of course not during the opponent's turn. He wants to be ready at the start of his turn. So even though I won the match, I do feel that hopefully that's helped a little bit in future. I think he is going to be playing Scorpion for a bit.
Well, he's definitely keen. We might have been meeting up. There's a bunch of us obviously might have been meeting up on Thursday to get games in. But Chris has been messaging asking him after Wednesday, which will be tomorrow, just to go over things a bit better. So I'll probably meet him.
Yeah.
And sit down or
And
something.
I'll probably be editing on Thursday.
Hope so, mate. Hope so.
That's my day.
Then come up against Connor with his Goro deck.
Yeah.
And as he has already mentioned, I got completely smashed. I didn't have the right block for his low attack. I think at that point I only had highs, so I had to take 13 to the face.
Yeah.
And that game didn't last an awful lot longer, because even when you've got 26 health, you're down to 13, a couple of throws, and that's about it. So I think at that point you were using the momentum to get back the pile drivers,
pile drivers.
Yeah.
which is
And then just flushing foundations.
also not great to my general game plan. Game 2, same sort of situation happened. I was feeling a bit bad about the Goro matchup, to be honest, at that point.
I was still bearded.
Still building. Hashtag still building.
Went to game 4, play against Sam. He's playing Eda 9, which I'm quite familiar from playing Eda 9, so looking forward to have a nice fun match until he checks a Punch and Judy. And then I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. Completely prepared to get hit quite hard.
If I'm not mistaken, it was Ed 9 playing a lot of Elmac support.
Yeah.
So it was
was
purely driven on the 6 checks.
Excessive amount of checks.
It was like, punching duty's going to come. I'm playing telechokes. I'm playing all the 6 checks that I can. Like,
Pretty much the game plan from that point was fatalities, get rid of the Punch and Judies, and hope that I get through it, and that worked out alright. So get to the top cut, go up against Adam, who's playing
Donovan 2
which
dot.
was new, a little bit new for me. I think I've only played Donovan once before that, if you've been playing it at all.
I'm not even sure if you would have. I've never built him.
So obviously with all of his drawing cards and such, it was a little bit new. But game 1, I'm pretty sure he won game 1 because I went a bit too fast, to be quite honest. Game 2 and game 3 slowed it right down and managed to get the win in there. And then we come to the finals.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just got to say, like, poor Adam, like, he's
There's a running joke at the moment that Adam's constantly the bridesmaid. He seems to do well, make cut, and then something goes wrong. Whether it's can't pass checks to save himself, forgetting that he has the damage redux E in play.
Oh, you'll never live that down.
Even just he had a good game 1 against Akuma, but watching it, game 2 and 3 just didn't go his way, and Akuma got off to a great start both games.
I think though, for the sort of first time playing the character competitively, like,
I think he needed the break from the 2 other decks that Adam played a lot was Scorpion and Jeddah, both of which played multiple 1 checks, and I know that it was a rough day of testing where the 1 checks just seemed to be the bane of his existence. So I think he needed that break. But I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen him play Jeddah at the next.
I
Yeah.
feel like he'll go back to Jeddah. On the Friday of testing my Goro deck, the revised Goro deck, it was just an absolute bloodbath. For Adam, he couldn't make me discard it, and anytime he was giving me momentum, I was just burning it so fast that he then couldn't keep up with either the damage I was putting out or the amount of foundations from Aether Leg I was getting. Stuff like that. It was just one of those ones. But I think he should have played Jeddah still at the event. I think it would have been the better choice.
It's definitely the harder matchup for me at the very least.
Yeah, it's a tough match. I think it's a tough matchup for anyone.
Yeah.
It debuilds you fast enough. Where if you can't keep up with building, then you've just got no foundations. Basically, you just can't play attacks at that point.
Well, I'll have to disagree, but
Felicia's no scared of Jeddah. She just can't hit you for any damage.
no, I mean that's it. So then on to your finals, aye.
Alright, for the finals.
So finals, like Connor said, played back at the flats. We go into game one, and I'm pretty sure I just won that game due to the checks.
Yeah, I think I passed about 2 attacks that entire game one. I just couldn't pass any checks.
So was this a case of you just couldn't pass checks, or did you put yourself into the situation of, hey, I've built 4 Shokan Prince, now I like
No,
can't pass a
game
check?
1 we didn't see them. Game 1 we didn't see them. Game 2 we did.
I think I got rid of them game one.
No, game 2
What was
you got
that?
rid of them.
Game
Because
2.
game 2 what Moat in the hand was 2 of them. And I was like, problem solved.
At this point, I'm in the kitchen trying to make food for like everybody for the rumble, and I'm running back and like, what's happening?
No, game 1 was basically just seeing all the 3 checks or the 2 checks when I had like just an attack like a 6 hand, like a 6
And
needed. And it was like I would either be tapping out to pass it or letting it fail. I think I let a couple of them fail, but like forcing them through didn't do me any favours either, because I just left myself with no foundations.
yeah, because
over the turn.
I think that was pretty much how the end of game one went. Just you couldn't defend.
Yeah.
And Akuma did Akuma.
Game 2, I managed to get enough spinning pile drivers played where I didn't have a faced up foundation by the end of the game.
Yep. Game 2, I'm pretty sure I went to 6 life.
Yeah.
I had two sadistic ways in hand, and I'm like, right, so all I need to do here is I need to get sadistic ways in, because I'm obviously I'm in desperation at that point, so I can use the rest of my hands.
So I'm thinking, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure your hand going into the final turn was a fatality and 2 sadistic ways.
Fatality, 2
And
sadistic
3
ways.
foundations, or 2 foundations and a revoke. Some mix up like that.
So I'm pretty
Because
sure.
you had 3 cards that you could bump.
So I'm pretty sure I used the fatality to start with, and then I used the Akumas. I don't think I used admission fees at that point because I was scared of the checks sort of going into the rest of the turn, because it was sort of now or never.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye. Cause
Is this the point where like
the
you laid it out on the table?
The prior turn had
Oh,
basically, I'm on the 26 health, and I knew she didn't have any low block because she was unable to block any of them prior,
Right, okay.
and I failed the check on the last attack.
So you left
And
yourself
I
with
left
0 cards
myself
in
with
hand.
0 cards in hand, and it was just a matter of could Emma do 27 damage.
Right, okay.
Because you came in
So-
from the kitchen, and at this point Emma had revealed her hand and went,
Yeah.
this is what I'm working with. And they started to talk out about, like, well, Connor didn't really say anything, but Emma revealed her hand and just started talking about, this is what I have, I just need to go for it, and started thinking out, like, out loud at least, of what her plan
Yeah.
was.
So I think at this point I played the fatality and I played the first. I don't know if any face up foundation. They didn't have an admission fees. I just had Akuma.
Yeah, it was literally just a Kuma.
When I played the first sadistic ways, I checked the sadistic ways.
Yeah.
So at that point I had to do a lot of calculations because I didn't know if I had the damage, but I knew I needed the damage. So with the first sadistic ways, I could only make one one multiple, because otherwise I needed a 6 check for the second one, and I've only got like 4 in the deck. So I was hoping and praying that I was getting a 5 check in my next sadistic ways, and it just panned out.
Yeah, the moment you hit 9, I was like, you get 3 on the field now.
Yeah.
But
3 attacks on the field.
Akuma had no support at that point, no enlightened by defeat, no admission fees, just him on his own.
Yeah, and 5 face downs in the card pool. Not saying
Oh,
it makes a difference.
5 face downs, a bunch of attacks, man. Yeah, that damage off Akuma adds up quickly.
Aye. The moment the first attack did 9, I was like, that's it instantly. That was game anyway. Because even without the additional Akuma, put face down and stuff like that, I was still
Yeah.
up to 27 for game 2.
Speaking from a spectator, obviously I'm judging and stuff, but a spectator on that final game, it was tense until the last minute. They both just played it relatively well, from what I've seen at least. Like at that point, I think everybody had started drinking. But looking forward to seeing you rematch at some point.
Well,
Preferably knowing the finals in the next one.
Well, hopefully it'll be me and Murray in the finals of the next one.
Well, that's it, man.
It's my arch nemesis, by the way.
That match
I
is
think it's
still hard to
everyone's
have,
arch
man.
nemesis.
It was mine's first.
Was you?
I don't think it is arch nemesis, right? I think it is boss mode.
But yeah, I mean that kind of wraps up our premiere event. I mean, you'll hear us talking about our community. Like we've got really close knit community in Scotland. We're hoping to grow. We're going to be doing some demo days and stuff in other stores. We're going to try and grow the player base, but that's the point of this podcast. And we'll be bringing a lot more YouTube videos. Like I say, is the WordPress. We'll be doing. Hopefully, we'll be able to get some people in for interviews. Maybe.
That'd be good, man. Especially some of the regular people that make it to events. It'd be nice to get their opinion, their thoughts on things they'd like to see.
So yeah, I'm going to get on to the domestics now, where you can find us. You can find us on Instagram at UFScotland. You can tweet us at UFScotland with an underscore. Find us on Facebook at fb.me/UFScotland. You can check out our Facebook group, which is UFS Scotland. And we also have an ultra page where we'll be putting all our deck lists from events, which is UF Scotland as well.
Any deck lists that I do for deck techs or random days that I just sit on board and build decks, I'll also throw up in UF Scotland. I'll generally try to write a description because it annoys the hell out of me that no UFS deck has a description on UFS Ultra.
yeah.
Also, feel free to hit me up on Facebook. Just find Scott Burry. You'll see me somewhere. Add me, like, speak to me. I'm pretty sure most of the other guys, Michael Murray, Emma Gillespie, and Connor's, all the middle names. Middlemass.
Connor, Snowy Morris, Middlemass.
That's the one. Yeah, like, hit us up. We'll happily answer any questions about anything that you have.
Before we disappear though, I want to plug 2 up and coming events.
Yeah.
Firstly, some point at the end of the month, I'm not sure what date we've been assigned yet by Max XP or local gaming store, but we'll have our premiere event in the last weekend of the month. It will either be the Saturday or Sunday.
Yep.
But slightly more importantly, especially for me, the weekend of Valentine's Day, unsure if we're going to be running it on the 16th or 17th, we're going to be having a Chaos Draft. So what this means is we're going to be having a draft that will be 1 booster pack from Mega Man Battle for Net, Battle for Power, 1 pack from Street Fighter, 1 pack from Bebop, 1 pack from Red Horizon Blood Omen, 1 pack from Mortal Kombat, and 1 pack from Street Fighter vs Darkstalkers. All characters from the set will be legal for you to choose as your select format character, and this will be to celebrate us being 1 year premiere.
Yeah.
Happy days, I look forward to that.
Also, we'll have a camera set up at the time that will be recording me as I draft, so you can criticise the picks that I make. But yeah.
Can we live stream that?
I don't know if we have the capabilities to live stream it from Max,
Okay.
but we might look into it. Maybe because there was issues with them live streaming video games in the past, but with us needing a lower resolution, we might be able to get away with it.
to get around it. Yep.
But if we can, we'll do our best.
We'll get back to you on that because that would be even better because we'd like to see
Yeah,
people.
abuse it in real time.
Yes.
Can
But,
we
I mean-
feed set up?
Yeah, throwing people off their game. I like it.
Worst comes worst, do it with your phone.
Yeah, that was that.
So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Like I says, we are the #1 place for UFAs in Scotland and the UK. Look forward to more content. It's coming soon. Goodbye from us.
See you later,
Catch us
man.
later on.